What's up, football fans? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. I am Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy, and welcome to another exciting edition of Thursday Night Gridiron for week 14. And I am joined by my good man, my good friend, and the president of the Sports Insanity Network, Lawrence Patchman Lang. Patchman, how are you, my friend?
Oh, it's Thursday. I have tomorrow off, and I
Perfect.
get to watch and I get to watch the Packers tonight. So
You're
it's
having a good night so far.
having a good night, having a good time.
He's having a good time so far, folks.
Ask me in a couple hours where when we may be losing by 15. I'm like, I'll still be happy.
You know what? I think that's fair to say. We got a humdinger tonight. Do people still say humdinger?
Bill, you might be showing your age there, but
Hey, dude, you're 2 months older than me. So
listen. I don't show that I'm 30.
how do I show that I'm 30?
Using the term humdinger.
Okay, I still use humdinger. But anyway, um, so we got a good game for you tonight. We got an NFC North battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, Lions win today. They get a playoff berth. They don't win the North yet, but they get a playoff berth if they win tonight.
Both of them coming off Thanksgiving Day wins. The Lions beating the Bears. Oh my. Costing Matt Eberflus his job.
His job's been in jeopardy for a few weeks, so that was just a good way to ruin his Thanksgiving.
Well, no, it didn't ruin his Thanksgiving. It ruined the day after his Thanksgiving.
You can't fire someone on Thanksgiving before they're about to have a good home cooked turkey meal or wherever you decide to indulge in on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I heard
Then
some
again,
people have prime rib on Thanksgiving.
I had turkey, so
I had turkey too. It's like I think turkey's more of a because I think people like prime rib more than they like turkey. But
regardless,
getting back to the matter at hand, and the Packers beat the Dolphins on Thanksgiving night, and this is the second time these two have met. Last time, the Lions in Week 9 beat the Packers 24-14. Jared Goff went 18 for 22, one touchdown, 145 yards. Jamar Gibbs, 11 carries, 65 yards, one touchdown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions, 56 yards, one touchdown. Flipping it to the Packers, Jordan Love, 273 yards, and a touchdown from Emmanuel Wilson. All right, I want to start off with this, Patchman. Who is a bigger threat to the Lions in the NFC North? Is it the Vikings or is it the Packers?
uh, if we're looking at teams as a whole, I would say the Vikings are more of a threat to the Lions because the Packers, when they're inconsistent with the football on offense, nothing clicks. I will def, defensive side. I'm not worried with that. Defensive side, they can hold their own against Detroit and try to prevent them from going in the end zone. We saw that. Last time they met in Week 9, you said 24 points. That's pretty big, holding the lines under 30 points. But if you're looking at a whole, the Vikings are the bigger threat to Minnesota. The Vikings are the bigger threat to Detroit right now. I just don't think the Packers can. I'm not. I'm spoiler, people. I'm thinking the Packers are losing tonight. It's the inner heart of me. The heart says, it's okay to lose again to the Lions this year. It's fine, no big deal. I just feel that Minnesota is the bigger team that can dethrone the Lions when it comes to winning the North.
I can agree with you with that, with Justin Jefferson, with Sam Darnold, who's been having a great year so far. I think the the Vikings are the stronger team, but I think the Packers have been playing. Their strength of schedule has been stronger though, because they've been playing stronger teams. But I think the Vikings will be a bigger threat to the Lions in the NFC North. Now, moving right along, what about this? Starting off with the Packers. Dude, what about this turnaround from the Packers defense?
I mean, you look at the Packers. The Packers have been for years. They've been we draft defensive players first couple rounds, and then we might be a little zealous, and maybe draft a running back or a wide receiver first 2 rounds. But mainly, the Packers are a let's buff up the defense, and they pretty much get an interception almost every game, and they find a way. They find a way to get the ball back to Jordan Love, whether it's getting an interception, forcing a turnover on downs, forcing 3-and-outs, forcing out a fumble, punt. They're someone's running the football. They're finding a way to punch that football out and get it to recover. So I I can't I cannot find faults in the Packers defense. Do they get a little lackadaisical once the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter turns around and it's turning into a blowout? Yes, and I wish they wouldn't do that. We saw that at the end of the Dolphins game last week, where the defense was just letting Waddle and Tyreek Hill just rack up the yards when the game was at reach. I kind of want to see them hold the I want to see them make the team go 3-0, not just give up a bunch of yards at the end of the game, because it's making you look weak almost.
Yeah, because so far the Packers have allowed 106.6 yards rushing per game this season, which ranks eighth in the league. And they have
Terrible.
not closed the season in the top 10 in run defense since 2016. And they have not finished outside the top 20 in 4 of the last 6 years. And they're yielding 4.2 yards per carry to rank 7th in the league. Over the last 3 seasons, they finished 22nd or worse. And they haven't been in the top 10 of yards per carry since 2017. So I think we're seeing a very strong Packers defense right now. It just really went boom like that. Right now, like I said, in rushing per game, they were 28th last year. This year, they're 8th. So this is a defense that is a force to be reckoned with. Would you agree, Patchman?
Well, when you make a change at the defensive coordinator side, finally, you find new life once in a while. And no offense to Joe Barry, but it wasn't working in Green Bay. It was time to hit the reset button, and a breath of fresh air happened.
And we're seeing that right now.
And like you say, they're top 8, and top 8 only let up 106 points so far this season. That's pretty impressive for a Packers team that sometimes has to fight back when they're down, giving up 30 points to come back and win like 36-32 or 34-20. 34-28, it's they're showing, hey, let's not let them put points up on the board, especially touchdowns.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree with you, bro. Like, this team is a force to be reckoned with. All right. Now, moving on to talk Josh Jacobs, the running back. He has had a great impact on this offense.
You look at, everyone was very excited. The news came through, Packers are getting Josh Jacobs. We're going to cut Aaron Jones. Not cut Aaron. Well, we cut Aaron Jones. I was thinking A.J. Dillon for a second. We thought we were going to cut A.J. Dillon. We're going to have the best running back duo in the league in Jones and Jacobs. Obviously, didn't happen that way. But Josh Jacobs is, been that breath of fresh air on the run game side because, when the Packers are in the red zone, Josh Jacobs is getting that ball in the end zone, whether it's, inside the 5, inside the 10, he's finding a way to get to that end zone to put the points on the board. And, I think he's had 7 touchdowns, and he's had a lot of touchdowns the last few games. So
And
he's helping the Packer run offense. So it's fantastic to see.
he has 221 carries, 987 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
So
So far this year.
So most likely we'll see him break through 1,000 yards this year. This game probably 23 away. So,
and you got to look at it this way, though, bro. The running backs, and I talked about this last week. The running backs are just immensely disrespected.
There needs to we always say the MVP award is a quarterback award. There needs to be a running back award awarded.
Okay.
And granted, and there just needs to be a running back award awarded to the best. It doesn't mean they have the most touchdowns or the most touchdowns, the most yards or whatever. Like do like an overall season of, kind of like how we do the MVP award, just an overall season performance.
And
because we know like Derrick Henry's going to be in conversation, Aaron Jones will be in conversation, Josh Jacobs will be in conversation, Derrick Henry,
Saquon
would be in conversation. Like they just need to create something to give credit to the running backs, because the running backs are the unsung heroes sometimes of the offense.
And here's the thing, after his career year in 2022, Josh Jacobs, since he came to Green Bay, in rushing, the team went from 14 to 5. And don't underestimate the power of running backs. And what I mean by that, though, Patch, is just, I said this last year when Saquon went to Philly. Running backs are a dime a dozen, and he's having like an MVP type year. When Derrick Henry went to Baltimore, running backs are a dime a dozen.
Well, you look at Derrick Henry and Saquon. They to put it bluntly, they both got out of shitty situations.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they were being underappreciated. They weren't being appreciated enough. Especially, what? Both of them are on equal levels, but especially Saquon Barkley, especially after now what happened with Daniel Jones. But also you look at Baltimore and Philly, both strong offensive lines where Derrick Henry and Saquon are going to find ways to break through and not have a collapse under them where the offensive line just collapses under and they're getting sacked behind the line of scrimmage, or they're getting sacked with 2 yards of gain and they're not performing well. Now they have offensive lines where we look at Saquon right now. Saquon's just balling out in Philly, having a ball. A lot of puns right there, people. And Derrick Henry out in Baltimore also having a ball. They're both having resurgences right now, and it's awesome to see because they're both of them are top 5 running backs right now in the league, if not 1-2 combo.
Well, here's the thing, though, Patch, man. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now I agree with you. Saquon got out of a terrible situation. So did Derrick Henry. Saquon, look what's going on in New York right now. This is coming from a diehard Giants fan. If you can't tell by my poster, the Giants are a freaking dumpster fire right now. They're dumpster fire.
They're you know what, the state of the stadium of MetLife and the state of the football programs in New York right now both need a reset and a cleaning of house everywhere. And I could see the Giants hitting the better reset button than the Jets. I think the Giants are going to find a glimmer of hope somewhere, maybe, and maybe end the season on a strong note. The Jets, I don't see that happening. But the state of the Giants is just comical at best. It's laughable.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And like, here's the thing. And like, listen, I can go on forever about, but no, I think all these running backs got out of a bad situation. But again, you can't dismiss the point that they're like, oh, Saquon goes to Philly. Running backs are a dime for a dozen. Who cares? Josh Jacobs goes to Green Bay. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Who cares? Derrick Henry goes to Baltimore. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Who cares? No, they're not a dime a dozen. Like, and I think we cannot dismiss Josh Jacobs' impact on. We cannot dismiss Josh Jacobs' impact on this team and the running backs in general. Those are my 2 cents. Okay, next. How well are these young receivers playing? You know, last year they had 4,210 receiving yards and 3,642, which were 86.5% of them, came from a first or second year player. But I think they kind of the young receivers have kind of tapered off this year. What do you think, Patch?
Looking at young receivers, it all depends where they are and who is their coach. Like, you know, look at the Packers. The Packers have the youngest offense in the league right now. I think at the median age of like 28 and a half or 27 and a half. It all depends who's your coach and if that coach can mold you into a wide receiver. You know, I mean, drawing a complete memory blank right now. I can't think of the name right now with the Giants. The Giants wrote the Giant. Well, flat lights. Yeah, blinded by the lights. So gotta love Dan. Shout out to Dan Murphy.
Yeah, shout out to my brother.
Shout out to your brother. You know, your rookie wide receiver having an okay season. He could be in a conversation with a rookie of the year, even though it's practically down to whether or not Jaden Daniels can finish off his rookie season strong.
Oh, absolutely.
But you have to, it has to be the right mesh of, you know, the young wide receiver. The young wide receiver is going to be there forever because you're always going to have new wide receivers coming into the league. It's just who's going to mold them properly.
Oh, I absolutely agree with this. But so far they've kind of been tapering off a little bit this year though. Not like the season they had last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now time to flip the ball to what I think is the best team in football, the Detroit Lions. Patch, is Dan Campbell the best coach of the year?
We're looking at coach of the year.
Is he the best
Dan
coach?
Campbell, best coach in the league. That I don't know. He's done wonders with Detroit so far. Yes, Detroit's 11-1 right now. And yes, they're tied with Kansas City for the best record in the league right now. But you can't forget Andy. I almost said Andy Dalton, Andy Reid. You can't. I'm gonna throw him out there. You can't fault LaFleur right now. LaFleur's, Matt LaFleur this year has had to use a backup quarterback for a couple games while Love was recovering, and the Packers went 3-0 with it. So you can't fault LaFleur right now. LaFleur's a great coach in the league right now. McDermott, it's a great coach in the league right now.
I can agree with you on that.
If anything, right now he's tied with Andy Reid right now as the best two coaches in the league right now.
Well, I definitely think he's going to be coach of the year.
Say it again.
I definitely think he's going to be coach of the year.
Oh, sure.
All right. Who else do you think could be coach of the year?
I mean, McDermott can be in consideration for coach of the year.
I think Campbell got gypped last year when they gave it to Stefanski. I think he should have been coach of the year.
I could agree with that. Obviously, the Philly head coach is also in consider. The Phillies are the Phillies. The Eagles are doing well. The Commanders head coach, a lot of good coaches this year. That like what I can't think of the head coach's name right now and with the Commanders, but what they're doing with Jaden Daniels right now is fantastic. And and people people can say that that Kent Williams was going to be rookie of the year since he was first overall pick. He's going to turn the Bears around. Jaden Daniels right now is your rookie of the year.
No, I totally agree.
And it's not because he probably had a chip on his shoulder or anything, because all the hype was around Caleb Williams. But I look back at my Dynasty League Nine with a few of our friends from the network, and I was laughed at when I took Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams, and I'm like, I just have a feeling that Jaden Daniels is going to do better this year than Caleb, and we're seeing that right now. So that's just a few coaches, and then you can't throw out Sean. You can't forget Sean McDermott.
Okay, I think that's fair to say. So, no, but I think Campbell's going to be coach of the year, and Washington coach is Dan Quinn.
Thank you, Dan Quinn. Thank you.
Dan Quinn. So, yeah, to me, I think it's either going to be Campbell or Quinn. Because look what Dan Quinn has done to that team. So,
Agreed.
moving right along, what about Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery's impact?
I mean, like this Lions team is probably the biggest threat to the Chiefs right now. It's them and the Bills. And throw Baltimore in there too, but this Lions team out of the NFC is probably the NFC representative in the Super Bowl front runner. They just have a complete team. Dan Campbell is the perfect coach for this team, and is the perfect coach that resurged the Detroit Lions.
Oh, absolutely. So I think their impact has been absolutely great on this team. And and I think I think they could be a big challenge to this Packers run defense tonight.
One of the best running back duos in the league. You're gonna cause a stir when you're running the football.
I can agree with that. Yeah, but this team, because so far, hold on, let me just pull up some stuff here. Because so far, Jamar Gibbs so far has Jamar Gibbs has 163 carries, 973 yards, and 10 touchdowns. And 10 touchdowns. So he is, and also David Montgomery. David Montgomery has David Montgomery has 166 carries, 720 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So I think this duo is going to be an absolute threat to this Green Bay defense. Now, how well you think the defense has played since Aiden Hutchinson got hurt?
I mean, one person doesn't make a defense. the defense, when a player goes down, especially a significant player like Aiden, you know, you got to step up in the big moment. And that's what this defense has done. This defense has stepped up big time.
Oh yeah, I can. This team has stepped up in Hutchinson's and Hutchinson, who is still out. He had, they have been a. Hold on,
You're good.
because so far, with him suffering with Hutchinson and Anazale, Alex Anazalone, the defensive, have been injured, and now the defensive side of the ball has absorbed the hardest hit. Because you got to look, it's not just Hutchinson. You got to look, Malcolm Rodriguez was hurt, Mekhi Wingo was hurt, and Levi Anuwazurki and Josh Pashko all injured right now. So, you do got to build like Al Qaeda Muhammad, who was a who just got signed off the practice squad. And during Thanksgiving, he had a good performance against Caleb Williams. He sacked him and he secured 4 quarterback hurries and had 5 pressures in a pass defense for hit and he has a 73.2 overall grade from Pro Football Focus, which was his second best mark of the season, only trailing his week 8 at 77.5. So I think a lot of this defense and a lot of these additions, even with like veterans such as David Long and Quan Alexander, can really step up this Detroit defense in the light of all those injuries. Patch, agree, disagree?
Sorry, you came through a little breakup issue. What'd you say?
I think all the additions that have been made, like Sandra Muhammad and a lot of other, like some other people who are filling the gaps that were left by all the defensive injuries, I think they can hold up pretty well.
Agreed.
So this Lions defense ain't going anywhere.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, that is. Okay. What is the X factor tonight?
If the Packers just got to keep the hammer down if they're putting up points. If they're gonna stop the Lions, you got to stop them from running the football down the field, getting the football down the field, especially on defense. Defense has to just step up big time. And on the offense, Jordan Love has to be smart with the football. As I see it every week, just be smart with the football. Like I used to hone Josh Allen. If there's not a play, throw the football away. Don't try to make a play out of it. Don't try to churn chicken caca in the chicken salad. Get rid of the football if you can't make a play.
I think the X factor for Detroit tonight is I think Jared Goff has to try to hit Amar St. Brown because and this would be an X factor for the Packers, because the Packers rush defense, is going to try to go after Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery. So I think Detroit really needs to utilize the pass game more and try to hit Amar St. Brown as much as he can, because that rush defense is going to give Gibbs and Montgomery an absolute nightmare. So, Patch, prediction for tonight.
Prediction for tonight. I said earlier in the show, I think the Lions are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 34-28 win.
I'm going to say the
And
Lions.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with losing to the Lions. It's all right.
I'm
You
going to
know,
say
me.
the Lions
Go ahead.
too as well. I'm going 31-27. Lions are going to win 31-27.
If there, as the old saying goes in the in Ford Field, if there's a Hail Mary coming your way, knock the ball down. Don't let it get caught, because we know what happens when Hail Marys happen in Ford's Field.
Oh, we do. Okay, so that is it for this week. Thank you for joining me, Patch. If you
Oh, you're
want,
welcome, my friend.
thank you. Free to come back anytime. Well, you are the president, so if you want to come back, if you want more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out everything we got on there, our blogs, our history, and just everything. Check us out on X, or you know what? We're still calling it what is Twitter. Check us out on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube, and hit that bell for more notifications. From all of us here for Lawrence Patchman Lang, I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy. Stay safe